Welcome to Life, Lessons, and Legacy, the podcast where we delve into the stories that shape our lives and the lessons we carry forward. I'm your host, Cedric D. Nelson, and I'm excited to embark on this journey of discovery, growth, and inspiration with you. Whether you're seeking motivation, guidance, or simply a moment of reflection, Life, Lessons, and Legacy is here to accompany you on your quest for fulfillment and purpose. So sit back, open your mind, and let's embark on this transformative journey together. So my next question for you is, who has been or is the single most inspirational person in your life, past or present?
See, and so it's a hard question because I can't give you one person.
Okay, I'll take however you got. That's
I
fine.
have to I have to give you a collection of people.
Okay.
Like so my grandparents and parents were very instrumental, as far as, setting the platform. So my mother's parents were farmers,
Okay.
and my father's parents, they were more activists in education and social justice.
Okay.
Um, so my dad's father was Jake Ayers. He's the one that him and my grandmother started the initiative with the Ayers case to get equal funding or towards HBCUs.
Okay.
And so that's part of it. And then my grandfather, growing up in the Mississippi Delta, was a farmer, and so feeding the community and watched how community was very important. So
Mhm.
planting a garden and giving everything away to people
Mhm.
to feed them so they didn't have to, go places was part of it. And so, and then parents, coming from a large family, community was important within the family and outside.
Mhm.
So learning to love people and treat them for, like they were your real brothers and sisters and not ever knowing a stranger.
Mhm.
And so now, so they started the foundation of who Kendrick was, and now a lot of the people that I pay attention to now are advisors that I never met, like a
Mhm.
Darius Daniel or
Mhm.
Bishop Bronner or Pastor Mike McClure
Mhm.
or TD Jakes or
Mhm.
Pastor Tubman. So people like that, or even my pastor at Word of Life, Pastor Sam, they shape a lot of the things I do now because spiritually, relationally, emotionally, I'm trying to be better every day. I'm
Okay.
trying to be a better version of myself.
Mhm.
So every day I want to be better than I was the day before, but that takes a lot of work, especially when you're battling the things in life. So
Mhm.
part of the fight is you want everybody else to be better, but it's a choice and they got to choose it. But then
Mhm.
you got to deal with your own things of running business and making sure you're personally well and focusing on your health, and then you got to look and make sure kids and family. And so it's being accountable and responsible, but it's being connected to the pulse of
Mhm.
what makes everything work. and,
Mhm.
and for me, it's really, I had to really learn to trust my father, trust God,
Mhm.
and that's my guiding principle for now, and just
Mhm.
trusting the Holy Spirit, because at one time I doubted, I had all these thoughts and all these, and I wanted to do all these things, but
Mhm.
the doubter inside of us sometimes create barriers and obstacles. And
Mhm.
so whenever I meet doubt or whenever the ego gets too loud, I have to put that in check and
Mhm.
then remove the imposter within. And
Mhm.
so that moves me forward now. And so, like I said, I've had a lot of people that have shaped my life, and so that's why I wanted to just do the due diligence of just telling you about everybody,
Mhm.
because everybody is a part of the legacy to what I want to leave.
Okay. And I like your answer, Kendrick, because I think about it like you is what you said is very important because it's like building a house almost. Like your parents and grandparents gave you the foundation, right? You
Mhm.
know, they make you strong foundation. You see your grandparents giving away food, taking care of the community. So you get older, you're like, okay, I'm supposed to help others, right? And then you get older and you start helping others, like you run into Pastor Darius Daniels, you run into all these other people, and you start realizing it's kind of like almost like your village, like you start from there in childhood with that foundation. And then as you get older, you find more and more mentors. Because my wife and I, when we moved to Memphis, we knew no one. I mean, not a soul. we had no family up here, and so now we've built a family up here, and those are
Yeah.
our friends, you know, that we've developed. They're like, you know, we have a family bond now. That's our Memphis family. So that is important. You said about your parents and grandparents starting you off, and then as you get older, you want to give flowers also to the people who continue to inspire you. Because I tell people, no matter how successful we are, everyone can always use a mentor.
Oh yeah.
You know, you need someone that you can bounce ideas off of. Someone also, a true friend, is someone who will tell you you're wrong, and you have to be mature enough to accept, like, I thought I was right, but you know what? I'm tripping. Maybe I was, you know,
Yeah.
maybe I was wrong. And I tell people your true friends will actually tell you. They're not going to say it in a, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. They're not
Yeah.
going to say it in a rude way, but they're going to let you know, like, hey, man, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's we all need corrective action. And two other people I left out. I left out
Okay.
Dr. Felix Anderson
Okay.
and Pastor Craig Winston.
Okay.
Those are two other people that, and Jimmy Lucas. Jimmy, I attended his group called For Kingdom Man, and
Okay.
he really encouraged and empowered us to focus on, being responsible as men, but doing our jobs in the community and lead. And
Okay.
so, you know, those three are in the area that I live in. And again, um, I take a lot of what I'm doing now from those three people. And I think it's been very beneficial. And then, like I said, we got to have fun doing the work that we do.
Yep.
Because if we're not having fun doing this work, then it won't last long.
Yeah, it won't. You know, and something else you said, Kendrick, that's important. Like I said about your village. I did a podcast about it's out actually aired last week with a barber named Greg Robertson. And he
Mhm.
was talking about you don't think about it, but the people that you put in your circle now, they are a lot alike. They're like you. Like we were talking about basically, he was saying like he doesn't really hang with guys who don't believe in raising their own children, who don't believe in being a stand-up guy. And it made me, I sat back and I thought, I was like, you know what? All of my friends are, their fathers, their husbands, they
Yeah.
are people, they're stand-up guys. And you don't think about it that's like I didn't never had a conscious decision like, okay, this type of circle I'm gonna build. But because when you develop into a certain type of person, those are the type of people that you attract. And so the
Yeah.
people you're talking about, there's a certain standard. All of you guys have this certain standard, and all of you guys hold each other to those standards. So, I tell people all the time, like you can build the community that you want, the village that you want. And all the people you talked about, they're very upstanding men. So therefore, you don't want to be the only one that's not an upstanding guy,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And like I said, as you grow, you lose your appetite for things that don't provide sustenance to you.
mm-hmm,
So if it's not feeding you and
mm-hmm,
giving you nourishment,
mm-hmm,
at some point you're gonna pivot and go
mm-hmm.
a different route.
Yep.
Because we can live on junk food when we're young, but as you get older, you need some food that's gonna, nurture you in all ways.
Yeah.
And so that's why sometimes relationships, even though you have love for people,
Mm-hmm.
but it just pivots to that's not the people that you spend the most time with.
Exactly.
A really Darius Daniel book, Relational Intelligence, taught me a lot about that with relational matters. As
Okay.
he broke down, relationships in four categories: friends, like associates or acquaintances,
Mm-hmm.
assignments, and advisors.
Okay.
And he talked about how sometimes we have people assigned to the wrong roles. We have
Mm-hmm.
associates assigned to friend roles when
Mm-hmm.
they need to be, associates.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes people that we're assigned to, to teach us something, they're seasonal people.
Yep.
And then we may have advisors that's meant to teach us and lead us, or
Mm-hmm.
we may become an advisor. So as we grow, relationships will shift. It's not personal, it's for our development and it's for our good, because developmental things, if we don't learn how to shift, we keep repeating the same patterns and cycles.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the key to development. If you keep repeating the same cycle, it's something that you hadn't learned.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got to pay attention to the cycle of your life,
Mm-hmm.
because it keeps happening. And so until you break that cycle, you don't go to that next level.
Mm-hmm. I like that. It's something I do. Like, I guess both of us do now at this point. I read a lot. Like I watch TV a little bit. I mean, like the NBA, I think the conference finals are on, so I'll catch some of it. But man, I find myself just reading all the time because it's like I didn't get it when I was young. I was always, pretty intelligent, but I didn't get it. But as I get older, man, I just have a thirst for knowledge. Like you're talking about the book by Darius Dane. Like that's stuff that I want to, because you kind of start figuring yourself out. Like let's play
Mhm.
basketball for like 8 to 12 hours a day. I'm not playing basketball 8 to 12 hours a day anymore. I can't even play basketball 8 to 12 hours
No.
a day anymore. So I find myself that thirst for knowledge. Like I want to. Not say I want to be the smartest person in the world, but I want that knowledge. I want to know why things work the way they work, how
Yeah.
relationships work. Even with my, you were talking about like the diet. When I was in high school and college, I could eat a whole pizza by myself and then go to sleep or go play basketball. Now, if I eat a pizza at like 9 o'clock, I'm up the rest of the night. I'm not even gonna try to lay down. I know
Yeah.
what's gonna happen. You know.
No, but that's good. And you said something I was gonna actually it may come back to me later,
Okay.
but
Okay.
yeah, it definitely happens in as we adjust and as we get older, we just learn that it's just a part of the shift.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely can't do the same things I did in my 20s. And man, I wish I could remember that point. It said it was something good you said,
Yeah.
but it'll come back to me later on.
Yeah. We'll get there. Yeah, we're talking about running and eating pizza and yeah, and just we're not those spring chickens anymore.
No, no.
They're laying down at night about 9 o'clock after eating a big meal. Not gonna work too well. I'm gonna pull all night. I'll be shooting podcasts all night because I'm not getting sleep. So,
No, absolutely not.
all right, two more quick questions. I won't hold you up. My next one is the question I ask everyone. It is like, what do you think about legacy, and what do you want your legacy to be when you leave here?
Okay. Well, as far as my legacy, well, I think legacy is important. I
Mm-hmm.
think how we live our lives and what example we are every day will show people who we connected to.
Mm-hmm.
So first thing I want people to know about me is that I love God and I gave him everything I had, even though I was one of those stubborn people that it took time to develop. I figured it out,
Mm-hmm.
and and that's where I choose to focus a lot of my time and energy now. Oh, I know what I was gonna say.
Okay.
It was about so you might think this is crazy, but I didn't start reading till I was like 38.
Really?
I've read more books in the past 5 years than I read in my entire life because
Wow.
I used to just read pieces of information to pass tests.
Yeah, that was me.
Well, now I get so much information from reading now.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the other part of legacy is to make sure people know that I focus on constantly developing
Mm-hmm.
and finding ways to be better. And
Mm-hmm.
so being better never didn't necessarily focus so much on money all the time, but being better in
Mm-hmm.
all the other areas. And then, what I want people to say about me is that he used the gifts God gave him to impact the world, to change it based off the vision God gave him. And so that's what I want people to see about me. So a lot of my conversations now, I'm passionate and I can just talk for days about the things I'm passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
But people that not talking about anything to me, I don't have a lot of conversation for them. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's where I'm different now. Like when I was younger, yeah, I could talk about stuff like that. But now
Mm-hmm.
it got to be something that's interested. It got to be something connected to my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not rude or mean about it. It's just it's hard for me to stay in conversations or stay connected um, to people that don't have my best interest at hand, but
Mm-hmm.
also aren't pouring into me like I'm pouring into them. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's one of the other things. As much as we give out, we gotta have a power source which is God for me, that
Mm-hmm.
fills me back up. But then we gotta have that community of people the same way
Mm-hmm.
that's pouring just like we're pouring.
Mm-hmm. Something important you said, man. That's why I think we all kind of kindred spirits. And that's why exposure and growth is so important because I'm like you. I have people that I'm cool with. I'm always gonna be cool with. Our family, even family members. But our conversations, and not just family, friends, what our conversation is so different. that I'm like you. Like I'm trying to, I have this purpose that I feel like God has for me, and I'm trying to reach it, right? So
Mhm.
I have a hard time having trivial conversations. Like I think there was a like a rap beef or something going on recently. And somebody asked me, like, hey man, what do you think about such and like, man, I don't even know. Like I know there's something going on, but but other than that, like I don't really know. I don't care. I don't really have an opinion. Like I mean, and I pray to live to be 100, a healthy 100. But
Yeah,
whatever time God gives me, like I have a purpose. I have this. I can't explain it, but my eyes on the prize. I'm trying to get there, and I'm trying to do God's work. So I don't have time for trivial stuff.
yeah,
I don't have time for people to talk about what kind of alcohol they like, or who's beefing with who, or what player's gonna sign with what team this summer. Like I it doesn't affect me, my family, our well-being. Like I'm like that doesn't like you and I talking about you talking about the book your book you talking about the
Mhm.
Pastor Darius Daniels book. That stuff that interests me. That's
Yeah,
self development. But like you said, that other stuff, like who doesn't like who? I'm like, man, I could care less. Like
yeah,
I don't have time. But that's the maturity I think also. When you
yeah,
don't have a purpose, it's easy to get distracted by trivial things. When you have a purpose, you don't have time for that stuff. You cut the fluff. I say you cut the fat off, and you're like, oh look, I'm just meat and potatoes. Let's get it.
yeah,
So
yeah. And I'll tell you about so two books that people told me about in like well, I'm reading Prophet first,
okay.
but the pastor, the campus pastor at my church told me about the Anxious Generation. He said it's a good book to check out. So
Okay.
that's gonna be my next book that I check out.
Okay.
Check it out. And he's talking. It really talks about the shift in how much we focus on technology and how it impacts our kids. So
Mm-hmm.
I check that out from that standpoint. So I just wanted to share with you the generation.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'll have the video, but definitely text it to me because I'll pick it up. Because that's something funny. Like I said, we'll wrap up the pod, but it's funny, man. I find myself reading like two or three different books at a time because I have one in the bedroom, I have one in
Mhm.
the living room, one outside, and so that wherever I am, I'm just sitting reading because I try to keep myself off my phone as much as I can.
Yeah.
And it's all of them kind of they're similar, but I'm just trying to gain as much knowledge as I can, man. Knowledge is power. I realize it's like it's here all the time when I was a kid. Didn't get it, but I get it now.
Oh yeah.
So much
Yeah.
knowledge I can get. So all right. So last question. And it's your time to shine. Are they in the websites, events, products, anything you like to plug?
Okay. So website is iprogress.cc. So if you
Okay.
Google iProgress, it'll take you to the website. And like I said, you can get so relational emotional intelligence or social emotional learning curriculum from there. It's $75 on the website,
Okay.
but it comes if it's also um teaches them curriculum
Okay.
that explains it if parents want to get it for the kids so they know kind of the objectives of everything. And then Journey to Healthy Relationships, Healthy You, that's still on Amazon. The quickest way you can search Kendrick Bailey and it'll take you, directly to it.
Mhm.
And so also, people can check me out and find me on Facebook and on my iProgress page. About 2 to 3 times a week, I may, drop some information. But every day on my page, Kendrick Bailey on Facebook and on Instagram, I share, some type of nugget or what I call words of wisdom
Mhm.
to encourage, to motivate, or just to teach a lesson. Where it's focused on really just pushing people forward and it's really teaching them lessons that I've learned across my life, lessons that I had to learn the hard way, just lessons I learned in general. So
Mhm.
people don't have to pay me all the time for information. I'm going to give people information for free because
Mhm.
I got a duty to, move us forward in some way or form. And
Mhm.
so that's why I love platforms like what you're doing with podcasts, because podcast is the easy way for you to just have a good conversation.
Mhm.
And conversations move you forward just as much as other things. You have a conversation that makes you think and take
Mhm.
action
Mhm.
and make you laugh. That's what people need more of in life. We need to think, we need to take action, and then we need to laugh more. And that way we know not to stay so serious, but we also know that things, comes in shifts and waves. And sometimes the best thing to do is face the storm head on instead of avoiding it. Because if we avoid it, it's gonna take much longer to overcome. If we just go ahead and face it, the turbulence of it isn't as bad as we think it is.
Well, that's like the buffaloes. From what I hear, buffaloes turn to face the storm. They walk right on through it. So when the storm is still chasing everybody else, buffaloes already took it head on. It's passed by. They're gone by the day. No, Dr. Bailey, I really appreciate it. I've enjoyed it. Anytime I've talked to you, it's always been a great conversation, very insightful. It's just something about like-minded people, and especially now we're in our 40s. It's like we can sit and talk all day. It's like you say, those nuggets that you put out every day on Facebook are helpful. I see them every day. I'm always hitting the like button because they are inspirational. They are helpful. And the fact that you are sharing knowledge with somebody, like you said, you have to learn the hard way probably. And now you don't know who you are helping to avoid that lump on the forehead, that we all had to get. So man, definitely I'm proud of everything you're doing. Any way I can help and be supportive, let me know. I will definitely grab 2 copies of the man you have from the kids. And just keep doing what you're doing, man. Guys using, you're doing God's work, and I'm proud of you.
Man, I appreciate it, Cedric. And like I said, if you want me to come back on another time, I'm just a phone call, text message away. Listen, I like to talk. And this hour has gone by so fast, it don't even seem like we've been on that long.
I know. Hey, and one more thing, like I said, we'll wrap it up, but I am putting together something, kind of like a panel. So if you are free, I can stop saying I go. What's crazy? A side note, I'm part of Toastmasters. I've even won some awards, and I haven't been in a while, so I'm over here umming it up, which is funny. But I'll take that part out. But anyway, I am putting together a panel, like-minded people. I think if you're free, I'll schedule in advance. If you're free, I would love to have you as part of that panel.
Okay.
We're trying to do something with the youth, and we're trying to do something for men and for the youth. So once I get it together, I'll kind of let you know and kind of see what we can work out.
Okay, well, good deal. Just let me know.
Yeah, I definitely will. Well, man, thank you again. Have a good evening. I appreciate it. It was great. Like you say, this hour shot by. I feel like we've been on here for 15 minutes. I guess because we both like to talk, but it shot right on by.
Hey, when you have good conversations, you lose track of time.
That's what it is.
So, like I said, man, I enjoyed it. So, just tell the person that's coming behind me, it's no big deal. Just imagine, that you just see you in a tranquil place and just have a conversation.
That's it. See, I like that counseling. I like that.
Yeah.
It gave us tips together.
What I had to learn to do, Cedric, I had to stop looking at the questions ahead of time because it made me get in my head.
Yep.
And then I just started just going off the floor. The person is interviewing, and that always made the conversation flow perfect.
And I told that's funny you say that, Kendrick. I told people saying that's like just be yourself. It's just a conversation. It's no different than you and I seeing each other at the bus stop and having a conversation. That's all it is. It's just a conversation between 2 people. That's all. We're just people having conversations.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll definitely give it a nugget today. It should be interesting. I'll probably text you afterwards. It should be pretty interesting.
All right, and then just let me know when you want to do the panel.
Okay.
And like I said, my schedule is free for the summer. So just let me know.
Okay, definitely will, man. Take care of yourself.
All right, you too, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Life, Lessons, and Legacy. I hope you found our discussion thought-provoking and inspiring. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your feedback helps us to improve and reach more listeners like you. Remember, life is a journey of growth and discovery, and every experience, both the highs and the lows, contributes to the legacy we leave behind. So embrace each moment, cherish the lessons, and live with purpose. You can find more resources, including my book, Life, Lessons, and Legacy, How to Take Life's Lessons and Shape Your Legacy. Available for purchase on my website at www.lifelessonsandlegacy.com. Also available on Amazon.com. On my website, you'll also discover information about my life coaching services and speaking engagements designed to help you unlock your full potential and live a life full of purpose. I'm Cedric D. Nelson. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you soon.